Oke, malam kita belajar ya. Kelas. Back to school. Lambat lo sebenarnya loading 2 minit. Your lab environment is being built. The lab will be ready in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh, tolonglah. Sebenarnya. Hmm, sabarlah menunggu. 1 minute and 50 seconds. Come on, come on, come on. 1 minute 30 seconds. So the first lab, assisted exploring lab environment. So kena habiskan dalam masa 30 minit. Banyak lagi ni. Certificate Master Lab for Network Plus and 10008. Total is 70 hours and 45 minutes. CompTIA Master Lab for Network. Exam 10008. Enable hands-on practice and skill development using real equipment and software accessed through the remote browser-based lab environment aligned with the official CompTIA courseware and the CompTIA network exam and 10008 exam objective. Cert Master Lab make it easy for the learners to practice and apply the skill in real-world based scenario in preparation for the certificate exam. All the lab activities include the gradable assessment, offer feedback and hint, provide a score based on learner inputs, ultimately guiding learners to most correct and efficient way through job tasks in classroom environment, providing instructive and meaningful. Okay, let's go see if the okay. This is the first lab. Exploring the lab environment scenario. In this lab, you will familiarize yourself with the system you will be using in the series of activities using the lab interface to complete most of the lab. This course you will use one of the more virtual machine VM hosted on a cloud platform. Each VM will very much like a physical computer, but you access them via your browser. The main thing to remember is that your Windows Start key will work on your own computer, not the VM. Take a few moments to familiarize yourself with some other features of the lab browser control. Okay. Number one, in the panel, select Resource tab heading. When you have reviewed Resource tab, content select instructions tab to follow them step again. The resource area use is to show the VM you have available to you plus any downloadable files that be useful during a labs. You can choose a different ISO disk to load into each VM DVD drive and also change the virtual network in the VM is connected. You can also open each VM in a new Windows if you find it easier to switch between them that way, right? Second, looking at the instruction lab again, tab again, notice that each of these tasks has checkbox for you to use to record your progress. As you complete each step, select the box to mark it as complete, okay? 3. Select the Help tab. Select the Instruction tab to view this step again afterwards. You can use the Help page to get assistance with the technical issue and view more relevant information using the lab interface. Also note that the Help button tab features a zoom control to allow you to make this instruction device larger, smaller, or larger. Finally, the timer counting down below the lab title, you will have the option of extending the lab for the limited amount of time. So please plan accordingly. If you run out of time, don't worry, you will always be able to launch the lab again. It aim complete assisted lab in 15 to 30 minutes. Aim to complete applied lab in 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. 4. Looking at the panel containing the DVM in the top left corner, select Display icon and select Full Screen. For working in the full screen mode is usually best because it allows the maximum possible screen resolution for the VM you are operating. The other option in this menu allow you to fit the VM screen to the browser with Windows or refresh the display. It does not seem to be updating. 5. If you are using Windows Computer to access this lab, press the Start key on your keyboard. Notice that this activates the taskbar on your PC. In some browsers, this might also cause the lab environment to exit full screen mode. Alright. Next, if necessary, switch to full screen mode again, then select the command icon to open the menu. Do not select anything from the menu yet. This menu allows you to send start key combination and control alternate key delete key sequence to the VM. There also virtual keyboard to use if you find you have troubles type particular character. VC use the US keyboard layout so your own physical keyboard has a different layout you may find. The some do not keys do not type the same symbol. You can also use the power menu to reset turn off the VM. You also generate only generally only do this if instructed. Okay. 7. Select the following control the delete button embedded in the instruction. This activate sign in on the Windows VM, right? Number 8. Now that you are familiar with the lab interface, let's look at the guest VM you will be using. Select next button to continue, right? Explore the Windows VM. The Windows network contains the server subnet and the client subnet. DC10 join is configured as a network domain controller. DC runs Windows Server 2019. Normally, the DC role should not be combined with others role, but to minimize the number of VM you have to run, this machine is also configured as a DNS server, DHCP server, and CA certificate authority server. This VM is configured with the static IP 10.1.0.1. MS10 Join is a Windows 2016 interface configured as a member server for the running application. It has the web server 2S and for email server HMail installed will be used for a number of other service and configuration. This VM also configured with the static IP address 10.1.0.2. PC10 Join is configured as the desktop client computer though is actually running server 2019 licensing reason. The 515 support administrator account is the domain administrator, but you will often sign on the VM using different accounts. Pay close attention to the account we use is any given for any given task. Each user account use password of security practice, but makes the activity simpler for you to complete. Alright. Each every point activity you should ensure that you are working with the correct virtual machine. The correct VM usually be accessed by selecting shortcut link in the instructions. For example, the ms.ms1 VM is currently selected. To switch to DC2 virtual machine, select DC join. Okay. Okay. MS10. Okay. PC10. SMB10. LAM10. RLAN. Okay. Each point in this activity should ensure that you're working with the correct virtual machine. The correct VM may also be accessed by selecting shortcut link in instruction. For example, MS1 VM is currently selected to switch to DC10 virtual machine. Select DC10 join. Virtual machine also be selected from the menu at the top of the lab user interface from resource tab in this panel. Okay. With DC10 join VM active, select the control alternate delete and select the password box. DC10 join, control alternate delete, enter the password, enter. Alright. Press enter the select button with password to log in. Okay. Point the network icon to taskbar that should read top Corp 501 support. Alright, 501 support administrator. This one. Okay. If a lab not working as you expected, check the DC10 has identified the network link. If it listed as unknown, disable and enable the adapter to reset it. Also verify that the HTTP server is running. Right click start button and select network connection. Okay. Network connection. And then check change adapter option. Then disable. Then enable. Right click and Ethernet adapter and select enable. Okay. The connection should be identified as corp501 support.com. Okay. In the server manager, select tool. Server manager, select tools, DHCP. Server manager, select tool, DHCP. Okay. In the server manager, select to the SCP, expand the C10 Corp 501 support.com server mode. Note, the IPv4 server node should now show with the green tick. Okay, green tick. It's okay because it's also already green tick. Okay, right click on DC. If IPv6 should not have the green tick, it should have listed as unknown. You may also need to restart the HTTP server to activate the scope. Right click the DC10 and then Alt task restart. Then select IPv4. Note to confirm it shown with the green tick. Okay, IPv4. Alright, it works. Switch to PC10, join. Okay, PC10. Then Control Alternate Delete. And unlock the desktop with the password. Alright, Jamie. Point the network icon to the taskbar again and tooltip read the corp51 support.com. Okay, point to the network icon, this one. Corp51 support.com. Okay. Right click start and Windows PowerShell. Select yes in the UAC prompt. Yes. The lab interface can automatically type commands for you when you're using Windows Virtual Machine. Alright. Next, select the following icon T icon hostname. And observe the command line tab in the PowerShell console of the VM. Press enter to execute the command. Okay, hostname is PC10. And then the next, get net IP address to display the IP address configuration of each interface. Okay, type this command. And this is what happened. Okay, get net IP address. And then type exit as close PowerShell. Okay, enter. Now the close PowerShell. Okay, next. Identify Linux Server VM. They also do Linux Server as MB10. Join is a Fedora Linux distribution. Get Fedora org that you will configure as a file server as a server distribution. This VM has no GUI shell. This VM positioned in on the local network with the Windows Server VM and has a DCHCP reservation for the address 10.1.16.911. The username is either root or SMB and password is password. Lime 10 is built on the Windows Ubuntu server distribution ubuntu.com and runs on the familiar Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP function of web server as a server distribution. This VM has no GUI shell. This VM is positioned on the local network with a Windows Server VM and has a DHCP reservation for the address 10.1 to 16.12. The username is lamp and the password is password. Arlan 10 running the VIOS Linux distribution VIOS IO is used to route traffic between these different subnet configured on various virtual switches. You will be discovering more about the network topology in later activities, so we'll not explain more here. If you don't want to investigate the VIOS configuration, the username is VIOS and username is password. You can also either operate the Linux server directly on the local terminals or use remote connection software on Windows VM. If you work in local console type copy, this tag function will not work. Use remote client will always allow you to type text or copy paste command string. Okay. To use SSH, select PC10 and open PuTTY desktop connection. Okay, this is PuTTY, and then type the host name lam10 SSH. Okay, open. Okay, the server, click yes. This is server host key, it's not cache. Login from, okay, yes. Then the username is lamp, enter, and the password is password. You had to type manually. Access denied, this goes wrong. Okay, this is what happened with the connection activity. Access denied. Okay, then we say password. Welcome to Ubuntu. Run Ubuntu. Then next, run the following command to show IP configuration. IPA. Okay, A, enter. This is what happened. IPA. If pressing key do not enter into VM, check that your cursor is clicked into VM. Next, assisted and applied lab activities. To complete the labs in the series, you must submit a response to each score test. This lab series comprises two different types of activity with different rules of scoring. Assisted lab come from your knowledge and guide you through step to achieve a given configuration. In Assistant Lab, if you get a score item incorrect, you may repeat the question, achieve the correct answer. Applied Lab challenge your ability to configure given setting and display knowledge of concept, tools, and option without detailed step instruction. In Applied Lab, if you get scored in that item incorrect, you may not repeat the assessment and change your answer. Type of activities assisted or applied is indicate of lab title. Many of the tasks scored by the script that checks whether you have completed the required configuration and output. When completing scripted tasks, you must use the same case-sensitive name, output folder, or other label directed by the lab instruction on your response may mark as incorrect. For example, if you are instructed to create a user account name user01, then user1 or 01 will be marked as correct. On the PC, then join, open Windows PowerShell. PowerShell. Okay. Yes. Run the following command on the IP configuration. Okay. Select score button to validate this task. Okay, file found, task complete. Okay. What information output by ipconfig command? ipconfig is address information for local information. IP information, alright, check. ipconfig, this file is created. Okay. Port configured, no port, no number port. Okay. Address information for remote? No. Address information. The answer is address. So let's see. Correct. So task is complete. Next. Okay. Comprehensive question. Is assisted lab end with a set of comprehensive questions? Answer this to ensure that you recognize the importance of the activity step and the uses for the information you have learned. In which type of lab you can change your response to score them. Applied lab. Oh no, it is assisted lab. Okay. Which the following domain should be identified by network adapter configuration on the Windows VM? COP, file 1 support. Correct. Okay, next. To conclude this lab, when you have finished the lab, please ensure that you end it properly rather than just closing the browser windows. Once you select submit, you will not be able to return to the list lab instance. If you want to repeat this lab, you can launch a new instance from your lab portal. Okay. Select submit below to create the lab. Okay. Click submit. Are you want to submit the grading? Yes. Yo, congratulations, you passed. Score is 4 4. Okay.